Welcome to my channel, guys. This is going to be my very first video, and it's going to teach you about how your buying power is affected by principal and interest. If you're new, which all of you should be, I encourage you to like and subscribe, but most importantly, the goal is to just learn something new today. So let's get it started. So it's the thing that you keep hearing people talk about. Interest rates are at an all-time low. You'll hear people running around like, I got a 2.8, I got a 2.5, I got a 3.5, I got a 3. And it's like, what do these numbers even mean? Because if you think about your interest rate for your credit cards, you'll be like, I got a 10%, I got 14%. It could be higher. And then you're like, dude, I don't care, 2.5, 3, 3.5, what's the difference? Anything's better than what my credit card interest rate is anyway. However, those little changes in numbers, that 1 point or that 0.3, makes a huge difference. Let me explain first the buying side. So when you're buying, you go and get your pre-approval, the first step in getting your home. So when you get your pre-approval, you're going to get your interest rate locked in, and it's going to help you figure out your loan amount. With your loan amount, you know what your purchasing power is. Now, one thing to figure out with your purchasing power is what's going to be your monthly payment. Now, your monthly payment is going to be comprised of 4 things. It's going to be principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Now, for my example, I'm going to cut out taxes and insurance to make it more straight cut and easy for you to figure out. So, let's use me as an example. I walk into my lender and I'm like, hey, here's my documents. After everything's said and done, he's like, Wayne, you've been approved for $3,000 a month for your spending power. So I'm like, oh, cool, $3,000? That's nice. So let's figure out what that does with each interest rate. At 2.5%, that $3,000 in spending gets me $614,000 in purchase power. Now it changes. Interest rates go up a little bit, 2.75. Now my purchasing power goes from 614 to 598,000. No big deal. However, interest rates do what? They keep going up. Now they're at 3%. So I have $583,000. Then they jump up again to 3.5, which used to be the average. At 3.5, my purchasing power is $554,000. So keep in mind that my salary or my monthly payment never changed. The only thing that changed was that interest rate. So going from 2.5 to 3.5, that's a difference of over $50,000. And guess what? You're still going to have to pay that same amount of money because the monthly payment never changed, only the interest. So that means more money is just going to the bank instead of going towards you for your purchasing power and for your home. So if you're in a position where you don't have to move, that's great. However, if you're on the fence and you're waiting for something to change, you have to realize that interest rates will eventually go up. And your monthly payment is still going to be the same. It's just basically you're trading in less for more, or vice versa. You're trading in more for less. Or same for less, that's the best one. You're trading in the same for less. Because you're going to be paying the same monthly payment and you're just getting less now. So another thing that people might be hesitant about, being like, oh, the market's going to crash and stuff like that. Realize that if, say, this situation does happen, the prices of homes will not go down as fast as the interest rate can change. That's a fact. Interest rate can change in a matter of a day or months. It can change very fast. But for a house to depreciate to a certain value in a certain amount of time, it's very rare that that will happen. So now let's talk about the selling side of this. So for the selling side, we're going to have a pool. We're going to have a pool of 300 people. And we're going to use the same numbers from before. Now at 2.75%, I'm approved to buy a house at $598,000. And I'm like, okay, cool. My house is $580, but you know what? I could price it at $590 and see what I could get. Now, that pool of 300 people, you just lost them. Why? Because the interest rate moved from 2.5 to 3.5. Now, realize when it's at 3.5, your buying power now is $554,000. Without taking the other things that set into effect, like taxes and insurance, which are big, understand that you just lost almost half of your whole buying pool. And it's always better to have more buyers when you're trying to sell something, which is how the market is dictated right now. It's heavy for buyers, not as heavy for sellers. But what that means is now you can have people bidding higher than asking price. So if you think of it, an additional $10,000 toward your monthly payment, if all it's going to do is change it on average about, let's say, $35 to $40. But that's at a good interest rate, which they're at right now. Once interest rates go up, that changes from $45 and up, and it can vary. But you're like, that's no big difference. But you have to keep in mind, I'm only talking about your monthly payment. So monthly payment is already almost at its cap due to other factors, like I said, such as your taxes and insurance, which can vary depending on where you live at. So you might not be able to add that extra $80 to your monthly payment, or you might not be able to add that extra $40. You might be really set at your limit once everything is set in stone. So what you have to realize is now is the time to get in for those exact reasons. If you want to sell your house, you can get more for your house. If you want to buy a house, you can get more buying power for your house. It works for honestly both parties. So hopefully this video taught you something on how interest rates are going. If you have any questions, feel free to comment and like below, or subscribe. Do whatever you may, but my goal is just to help you, and hopefully you did some of that. Stay tuned for any of my other videos, and see you soon.